safe to say that I am officially just an unboxing channel at this point. That's all I am anymore. Welcome back to the channel. Anyway, as you can see, I have gotten another SmartArt box today. This is the March box, and of course, as usual, I'm going to be opening it up, seeing what sort of supplies are in here in this fine, beautiful box that is bursting at the seams, and I'm going to make some art with it. Thank you again, SmartArt, for continuing to send me these boxes for me to open, try out, make some art with. It's been very, very fun, and I am very, very happy to be in collaboration with this company. I am very excited, and this box is feeling like it's literally going to bust open, so I'm just going to get right on cracking into it and start seeing what's in here. Okay, let's open this on up. Ooh, okay. They put some really pretty wrapping paper in here. I think this is the same wrapping paper they used back when they brought the glass dipping pen. Let's see everything that's in here. I see some pencils. I see pencils. Oh, this is big. Ooh, those are a lot of pencils. Jeez, look at all of those. How many are in here? There's like 10 graphite pencils in here. There's a sharpener, there's an eraser, there's a pencil case here. Art on the go, graphite sketch set. This is huge. There's some candy here. I think maybe this is like, what is this? Okay, really, really small sheets of paper. That's cute. These are tiny, look at that. It's smaller than my hand. That's cute. Is there another one here? There's another one. There's 2 little baby sketchbooks. 4? Wait a minute, there's 4. Oh my god, there's 4 tiny little sketchbooks. Oh, these are cute. These are really cute. They're so tiny. And they're really slick on the front too. I really like that. They're really slick. I could stick stickers on these. I could totally put stickers on these. There's something in saran wrap here. These are so cute though. I'm gonna get hyper fixated on those. This is pretty. I like this. I like this pattern, these different figure drawings. That's pretty neat. Ooh, I see some graphics pens in here. Ooh, look at the sticker. This might be my favorite sticker they've done yet. There's just something so nice and simplistic about this one. I really like this sticker. I'm gonna keep this sticker. I really like this sticker. Let's see everything that's in here. Looks like graphics is a pretty common brand for SmartArt to be using. They just had some graphics in the last box that they sent me. Let's see if I can find those, because I really like those pens. I believe these are the same ones. Yes, they are. Not the exact same. However, it's the exact same brand. These are the markers that came in the last box with the alcohol inks. And these were alcohol-based markers. This is going to be really interesting to compare because these look like they're fine liners. Ooh, they're multicolored. They're multicolored fine liners. Ooh, wow. Ooh, there's a whole range of colors in here. Oh, that's going to be cool. Looks like we're going to be doing mostly cartoons and illustrations with this one. And you know, I am an illustrator. I am a cartoonist. I love doing things like this. This is going to be really fun. I want to see what's in the saran wrap though. I want to see what's in here. This is really interesting. What could this be? Oh, there's multiple things in here. Feels something strange. Why is there a cord? There's a cord? What is this? What is this? Hold on just a second. It's an LED tracing pad? Okay, so it's basically just a tiny light board that you can use for tracing and stuff. That's actually pretty cool. I wonder if that's what we're going to be using these sort of things for. Are they wanting us to experiment with like Flipbook animations or something? That's really interesting. That's unique. I never expected them to do this in a box. Let's see what the themes are. Okay, I'm not getting much from the themes here. These seem to be mostly action, so maybe the prompt, maybe it is actually trying to get me to do some 2D hand-drawn animation, which I'm not great at. I prefer to do digital animation frame by frame. I've never done hand-drawn animation before, so that might be rather difficult. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that. I mean, that's probably what these are for. There's 4 of them, and there's 4 prompt words, so I'm assuming that means that it wants us to do 4 hand-drawn animations or something like that. That would be very interesting if that is the case. So we have a massive graphite drawing set. We have the graphics fine liners in multiple colors, practically a rainbow, and we have these 4 really adorable little tiny sketchbooks. Okay, so if I'm gonna be doing some hand-drawn animation or tracing and stuff like that, I think I will go off of these prompt words because I can. I'm definitely gonna have to take a minute to come up with ideas because considering the size of these, I don't want to do anything that's going to be too intensely detailed or else it's going to be just way too difficult for me to animate. So that's going to be definitely something to think about in doing this. The paper feels pretty thin though, so that means tracing won't be that much of a problem. This is going to be very interesting. I'm also just really curious about the candy. I've never seen this before. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna eat it. Oh geez, it's caramel. Okay, I took some time to read through the instruction manual and I have realized that this is in fact a animation themed box. These are specifically supposed to be flip books where you do hand-drawn animations, so I'm gonna be focusing on doing hand-drawn animations for this one, which I have never done hand-drawn animations before. Like I said, I've always done digital animatics. I have never done frame by frame hand-drawn animation before. This is going to be very new and very, very interesting for me who's never done something like this before. I have 4 prompt words, and I thought for the 4 prompt words, it would be really fun if I could take 4 of my mushroom characters from my mushroom world and make one of each of these about them. So I was thinking Melt can go to Kai because Kai is a cold character, and when he goes into places that are really, really warm, obviously, he is really hot. So I think it would be fun to play with the melting theme with him. And then Akaji is going to be Grow because he is a chef and he has his own various places where he grows all sorts of ingredients and mushrooms and other things like that to make food. The next 2 are going to be the Trader and Nami, and the 2 words I have left are Bounce and Surprise. So I'm trying to decide who I want to assign to each of those. I'm not totally sure yet, to be honest.
A warning, I did not end up making all 4 animations. I did not have the time for it. I ended up only making one really detailed, really complex animation. I did end up deciding to make one little short animation for Grow, but it's not Vakaji. I decided to make it be the life cycle of a mushroom, showing a mushroom grow from inception at mycelium stage all the way up until its final stage as a full mushroom and then decays. So those are the 2 I made. I didn't do all 4. I was very naive. I only made these 2, so you're gonna have to live with it.
I might do some storyboarding for all of these just to figure out what exactly it is I want to do. And then that would leave Bounce for the Trader. Bounce is not really a word I would usually attribute to her, but I want to use her because she is the main character, so I might make her be Bounce.
So I actually ended up never doing a lot of storyboarding at all. I actually really just spent a long time trying to figure out how I wanted to draw Kai in this little chibi-ish style, because obviously I do have this more chibi style that I use for my sticker designs, but when I tried to turn it into an animated thing, it was not working out. There was no way I could make those eyes look the way I wanted, and I tried. Trust me, I tried. But I decided to switch up styles for a little bit. I did a little bit of experimentation. I drew and created this little version of Kai as a little chibi character, and I really, really like this design. So I drew it, I inked it, and I made this one the main base for all the frames in the animation. And now that I had Kai all figured out, I figured the next part of the animation that would be important to figure out would be the sun.
I want the sun.
The sun?
Because Kai is a very cold character, and obviously you can't have somebody melting without a sun. I mean, I guess you can if you have fire, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is Kai is in the sun. He is too hot. He is feeling like he is melting. So I need a sun. So I'm using a sun. I drew this little sun, and I'm planning to use it for all the frames of the animation. I ended up using it in both the traditional and the digital version of this. Spoiler alert, I made a digital version because it was way too cute. I had to make a digital version to go alongside it. So a little spoiler for that, but this is the little sun that I drew. This next step is where stuff started taking a lot longer and took a lot more time, because this is when I actually started the frame by frame animation. And the way I ended up doing this was I started at the back of the book, which now looking back at it was not the best idea, because that actually made it nearly impossible for me to flip through the pages. So in the next one that I'm going to be doing, where I show the life cycle of a mushroom, I'm actually going to start from the front. This was just a little mistake that I made. How was I supposed to know? I didn't know that you're not supposed to start at the back of the book. That's what my brain said. My brain said start from the back of the book, and that's what I tried to do, but that was my mistake. And so this whole next portion of the video is basically me just tracing the exact same sun drawing over and over and over again, countless times, working on getting this animated form of the sun up into the higher portions of the paper, so I can make it look like the sun was rising into the sky, because that's what I wanted that very first frame to be, which was really, really difficult, because as the paper kept layering up, it got harder and harder to see, and as I kept adding more and more frames, I kept having to fold the paper up and back behind itself. It was a process. It got difficult to hold and trace at some points. It felt like I needed 3 hands, and I only have 2. I don't have 3 hands. That would be really useful though. I'm just such a detail-oriented person though, that I took up as many frames as I possibly could. I made this part go so slow because I was so determined to make sure that I had each teeny tiny bit of movement shown on each page. I wanted it to look so authentic. I wanted it to look so smooth and so flawless, and I was like, okay, I can use up some frames. I can use up some frames to make the sun look like it's moving at a very steady pace up into the sky. And I totally forgot about how many frames I'd need for the entire rest of the animation, which was another mistake I made. I completely underestimated with the amount of pages in these little flip books. So I'm learning things. I'm learning that I can't spend as much time on different shots when I have animations that have multiple scenes that require multiple frames. So I have to sacrifice some of that cleanliness to get the overall story into one little book. Well, and now since I basically spent a good portion of like at least half of the time that I was animating this just working on the sun, maybe it's a good opportunity for me to share what I have done with animation since I've never done hand-drawn animation before. I've done plenty of other animations before. They've just always been digital. When I first started doing animation, I immediately went to digital. I did not want to try anything traditional when it came to animation. I was like, no, this is a digital thing. I'm doing it digitally on my iPad. And it's still my favorite method of doing animation. I have not taken any animation classes. I've literally just been teaching myself frame by frame animation. That's all I've ever done before. And it's very, very different. And it's cool to see how far I've come, especially since I've never done hand-drawn animation before in comparison to what I do know about digitally animating. My first animation I ever did was a very, very bad, really old animation that I made of me waving, I think it was. It was of me waving. It was like a, hello, this is me, because back when I made that animation, I had just switched my username and art username to make it into a business format, because my username before was the Star Wars girl with a Z at the end of Wars, and at that time I was like, okay, I want to make my art into a serious business. I want to do all this stuff with my art, so I need to switch my name, give myself a brand name, make myself a business. So there was a little animation for that, and I took a break from animating for a very, very long time because I realized, dang, this takes a long time. This is really hard. It takes a really long time. I don't know if I want to commit to something that takes this long, you know? And I did not do animation for another 2 years, I think. I think it was another 2 years before I did any animation. And then I got this wonderful idea. I had an amazing idea. I was just being the Naruto fan that I am, you know? Just being the fan of Naruto that I am. And I was looking back at my personal favorite Naruto character, Deidara. I was just thinking about him, and I got the sudden idea, hey, it would be really, really cool if I animated a music video of Deidara to...
This song isn't funny at all, but it helps me sleep at night. I said our heart is a dead.
That would be really cool, and it would be really funny, because that song really fits Deidara's vibe, and it feels like it's basically meant for him.
Cause he's just a little attention attractor, but I get paid to indulge in my habit. I'm wearing makeup, cause I wanted my name in lights. A self-centered artist, self-obsessed artist. I am an artist, and maybe I'll grow out of it.
Look, I really like Deidara, alright? I'm very, very much in love with him. Look, he's very self-obsessed, but I'm very attracted to his personality. I love him. I absolutely love him. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna jump back into animation and I'm gonna make a music video all by myself. A full animated music video. Yeah, I said that last summer, and I've not worked much on that, but it got me back into animation. So the very first thing I did when getting back into this was I started working on actual action shots. And the very first one that I made for this was a little walking sequence of Deidara. It took a very long time, and I think it's only 3 frames that I kept continuously repeating over and over again. The goal wasn't to make it completely streamlined, because the style that I was using to inspire this specific animation walking frame of Deidara is directly inspired by a music video that somebody animated to a song that a couple of my favorite Japanese Utates covered. And this song is, I actually don't know the title, I only know the lyrics, but the song itself is covered by Mafu Mafu and Suraru, and the animation style is absolutely adorable.
1, 2, 3,
So I heavily referenced that animation when I made this little walking sequence, and then I decided to add Sasori, so it became a duo. It became both Deidara and Sasori, and then I also added in Toby, and it became a little walking animation of 3. And I realized, okay, I actually really like animation. Despite how long it takes, it's actually really fun, because it let me hyper-fixate on it, let me hyper-focus. I spent many hours working on it. It was just really fun, and it was nice to jump back into animation and actually enjoy it for once in my life. And I was like, I want to continue doing this. I want to keep trying this. I want to learn more about this and get better at it. And then my next trial of animation was trying something with a bit more movement to it. I tried animating Denki Kaminari because I also really like Denki. I really love him too. And I made an animation celebrating his birthday. It's not as good as I would like looking back at it. I mean, I wasn't even totally happy with it back when I posted it. I love the front-facing shots and I thought those were really good. It's just all the side shots I didn't like. I didn't like those head shots to the side. I just really didn't like those. The rest of it though I really like. I feel like it suited the vibe really well. It was wholesome, but it was also sad. And that's the perfect vibe for me. Just a little bit of happiness, a little bit of sadness.
It's nice and happy to start with, and then a little sadness.
Able to test out my art style a lot with that one and try out more stylized animation, which actually really helped in retrospect with this little animation of Kai here, because it's difficult to do stylized animation, I realized, and I feel like all the digital stuff I did beforehand really helped me with the animation for Kai here. Because yeah, I started working on Kai while I was ranting about all of my animation stuff, so yeah, I've started on Kai. If you weren't paying attention to the video, I'm working on Kai now. It's basically just the same thing as the sun, multiple repeating frames over and over again, but my animation journey did not stop there. Oh no, it did not stop there. I made another Datara animata because I was still working on the Art is Dead musical video at that time, and that one took forever because it's a very short, I think 7-second animation. It took me well over 30 hours. 7 seconds for over 30 hours of work. It was a lot. I'm not going to be completing this music video for several years, but this one was the biggest animation I had ever made at that time because it was fully colored, it had full movement, it had a fully animated eye-opening sequence, which took a long time to do. However, I really like it. It's one of my favorites I've done. Everything about that one gave me so much more like knowledge about animation, and I feel like knowing how hair in particular moves was the most important thing because it really helped me with the digital version of this little animatic here. I didn't do any hair moving in the traditional version, but later when I make the digital version of this one, it ends up looking really good, and I don't think that would have happened if I didn't make this Datara animation of his hair moving. And then my most recent and last animatic that I made, I actually made back in December, starting on Christmas break and finishing it actually relatively quickly, but that's probably because I hyperfixated on it, spent many hours in one sitting working on it, was a full animation of Kai himself. I decided I wanted to make a little Merry Christmas animation, and I decided, hey, I can make this really cute animation of Kai because Kai is a winter-themed character. He comes from a winter country, so who else would be better for me to make a Christmas animatic of than Kai? The Datara one was very complicated, but this one was by far the most complicated one of them all. This one had a full-scale turn, and the way I figured out how to animate this one was literally by filming myself doing the exact movement in the animation. The way I created this animation was by viewing my own body and creating reference lines of those movements that I was making to follow to create all of the animation for Kai. It took so long, took so many stages, it took absolutely forever. It was a very time-consuming process, and I probably spent way more time on it than I needed to. I was spending every spare second working on this thing, but I think it turned out really good, and it really showed my progression in animation up until this point, because this one had a fully rendered background as well as fully colored and fully shaded character. I had done Datara in full color, yeah, but he was not shaded. In this one, Kai was completely shaded, and I had to repeat that every single time on every single layer. It took forever, but overall, it turned out to be the best animation I had made yet, so I'm really proud of how it turned out. And that basically sums up my entire animation journey up until this point.
So while my printer is going, I have this little drawing of the trader I did. That's part of the next and final frame for the flipbook with Kai. This is the final little drawing I had to do, really cute. I didn't record it, but here it is. This is going to be the thing that I traced. It's going to be the last bit of this little animation.
Now basically all that was left for me to do was to finish tracing all of the individual frames since I had drawn the trader into there, so that was the last main character I needed to add into the animatic. Everything after that was going to be pretty simple. So all I had to do was finish tracing and then literally color everything in, which coloring everything in did take a really long time. That honestly took the longest time out of everything in the animation process. I was not expecting it to take this much time, but then again, I did color everything in the character except for the final frame where I just have Kai holding the little cup and then smiling. That was the only stuff I left uncolored, and I wish I could have left it uncolored in retrospect because I feel like it does look better as a black and white animation, which I ended up doing for the digital version as well just because it was quicker. But it was fun to test around the colors and to see how they worked, and I really liked the way they ended up looking when I actually put the flipbook together. When I actually have it flipped properly, the colors actually make it look really, really nice. So that was the last part of this final animation stage, and it was also the longest part of the animation stage, was coloring everything in.
So as you can see, I'm still at home right now finishing up recording this portion of the video. I have Theoden sitting here behind me, as you can see. I finished all the line art and the coloring for the little book. I decided to leave these last few frames just blank because I like them the way they look more blank. I feel like the coloring kind of distorted the way it looked a little bit in certain frames. I feel like these frames look good, but it's these ones where stuff gets smaller that I feel like I just didn't like it as much, and I just wanted to keep this section blank because I think it looks cute. Though one thing I think I'm gonna have to do is I think I'm gonna have to take pictures of each frame and put it together into a little video, because despite what I do, I am having the hardest time getting these to flip through properly in one shot. Like I either have to go extremely slow or I have to risk just like that, just losing a whole bunch of frames all at once. I can never get like a perfect flip through, and I think that's because of the fact that I went from back to front instead of front to back. So that's something that I might have to take into account for future ones. Because of how long this took me, I think I'm only going to do the one, but I did put a lot of work and effort into this, and I'm very, very happy with it. And in the future, once I have more time, I'll definitely use the other 3 books that came in this SmartArt box, so that way I can make more little flipbook animations, because this is really fun and it takes a lot less time than digitally animating does. Though what I do want to do is I want to do a side-by-side. I'm going to take all of the little frames that I made, because this is a very simple animation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the frames from this little flipbook that I made, and I'm going to turn them into a digital animation. I'm going to do the line art, and I'm going to make this a digital animation as well. And I'm going to do them side by side, because that's how animators originally started, where they would hand animate everything and then they would turn it into a digital medium. So I think that's something really cool that I would really like to try, especially since I've been watching a whole bunch more originally hand animated things that were turned digital, like Lilo and Stitch lately. So I think that's going to be the next part of this video. This is a pretty simple animation, and I don't think it'll take too long for me to make all of this, and I'm really, really excited to see how it looks alongside this one. And also, I must say, these fine liner pens are absolutely amazing. This black one that I've been using the entire time has lasted me literally so long, and it has not shown any signs of running out at all. And these markers don't bleed, they don't like merge with pencil weirdly, they don't look disgusting when they're layered on top of pencil. They just look really, really beautiful, and they don't smudge, they dry really, really fast. So I'm very, very impressed with these pens. This was definitely a great addition that SmartArt included in the box.
So I messed about in Procreate for a little while. I got pictures of every single frame from the animation, and I put them all into Procreate, and I got this really nice, really cute little animatic from it. By going digital, I was able to get a lot more frames into this animation, which I thought served it really well. That let me be able to repeat certain frames, so that way I can make certain scenes last longer, so I can make them take different amounts of time. It was just nice to be able to make sure I had enough frames for the animation to be as long as I wanted it to be. That's the one thing I would say I'm not a fan of with flipbook animation, is that you are limited to the amount of pages you have, whereas when you're animating digitally, you can literally just keep adding layer and layer and layer without having to worry about that. But I do like the aesthetic of it. The aesthetic of hand-drawn animation is really, really nice now that I look at it once it's added in all traditionally. After this, I started working on the digitally animated version in Procreate, and yes, if this looked like a chaotic mess, it's because it is. That's how digital animation works for me. I keep my onion skin layers turned on, and I keep them on the entire time. So you end up with this huge mess and chaotic nothingness. Well, not nothingness. This chaotic mess of lines, and nothing but lines, just covering the entire canvas. That's just the way I animate. And this mostly will look basically exactly the same for each of these individual little speed paints, aside from the parts where I literally just trace over in line art and then draw over everything. I decided not to color it because I figured that would just be easier, it wouldn't take as long, and I really liked the simple black and white look. I thought it was looks really cute. I didn't want to have to fully animate the entire thing with color. As you can see, I did a lot of shrinking and playing with angles that I couldn't do in the original one traditionally. Like I played with the sun a lot, I played with the growing and shrinking Kai. There was a lot of stuff going on with this animation that was like, ooh, but what if I did this? And what if I did this? And I even added a frame for this animation. I added a frame, a scene, if you will, that was not in the original animation. I added a little scene of Kai holding the cup that the trader gives him. Right after he takes the cup, he looks down at it, and I decided, hey, it would be really cute to add this little scene of him holding the cup, and it has little ice blocks moving in it. Ice blocks? Ice cubes. Ice cubes. So I added that. That's a frame that's in there now, and I think it looks really, really cute. I also had a fun time animating Kai taking the cup from the trader. That was also really fun. Everything about this one was just really, really fun, and I had a good time with it. It was just so cute. It was so wholesome. It made me happy, and not a lot of things make me happy. So it was nice to be able to work on this one, to do it all digitally. I love the result. It looks so clean. It looks so nice. I love it. I love it. And without further ado, here is the finished animatic, the digital version.
Like some kind of hell, go round and round in a carousel. You got me dizzy, tripping, falling on the ground. Yeah, you're a blank page on my white canvas. Who knows what we could be together? Wet paint caught you red-handed. Who knows if this will be forever? Run me under water curves. Okay, let me be candid. This won't be forever. Drama, maybe you're the one or you're back home. Well, you could be my advice, yeah. All that I need, everything I like, yeah. Shoot straight, no blank, some kind of hell. Go round and round in a carousel.
So that was the whole process of making a 2D traditional flipbook hand-drawn animatic. First time ever doing that. It was a really fun learning experience, a really fun process. But before I sign off to end this video, I have one more little surprise for you. One last little handbook animation that I made. Very, very short, very, very simple. Just the simple lifespan of a mushroom. For the prompt word, grow.
Let me be candid. This won't be forever.
So that is it. That is everything that I made in this video. All three animations that I made, the animation to melt with Kai, and then the animation to grow where I showed the entire life cycle of a mushroom. This was really, really fun. Again, like I've said multiple times in this video, never tried flipbook animation before, so that was something completely new. SmartArt is always giving me something new to try out and test with my artwork, which is always so, so much fun. Thank you again to SmartArt for sending me these boxes for me to continue to review, open up, try out, and discover some new art supplies to implement into my work. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I don't monetize this channel. This is literally just for fun, so whatever support you want to show works. Even just watching my videos is enough. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, whatever is going on for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! And there goes the car horn.